public hearing. Okay. All righty. I'd like to take this opportunity to open a public hearing regarding the downstate small business stabilization application funds for the community development block grants. And we have Mr. John Bannon here from the Office of Community Development. John, could you give us an overview of what this program is and give us an idea of what we hope to accomplish and go from there?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. So as an overview, in 2019, the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity allocated $4 million for economic development funding from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development from the Community Development Block Grant Program. The Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity reallocated $20 million for the urgent need of preserving low to moderate income employment. They initiated the Downstate Small Business Stabilization Grant Program, and I just want to talk about that in one moment. The program awards $25,000 or 60 days working capital, whichever is less, to small businesses throughout the downstate Illinois. Entitlement areas are excluded, which are most major metropolitan areas in the state. The city of Macomb intends to apply on behalf or with businesses in the area to the state CBDG program. The 5 businesses are on in the public hearing today. The public notice referenced $134,600 for Counseling Cares, Magnolia's Catering, Wilbur's Mill, Piece to Piece Treasures, and CMK Jewelers and Repair. Upon further review of their application materials, the application amount is going to be revised to $150,000. All of the businesses are eligible for $25,000, as their 60 days of working capital would be at least $25,000. The DCEO and HUD are okay with that, even though it changed from the notice of public hearing. So the public would get the notice that the city is planning to apply with these businesses, and a resolution would be passed for each of these businesses. And then if those businesses are awarded their application, the city would receive the funds and then disperse them to the businesses on a reimbursement basis as receipts and invoices are provided.
Okay, very good. With that overview, I appreciate that, John. There's a lot of moving parts in the grant application process. I want to take the opportunity to thank you and your staff for helping these business owners kind of wade and navigate through the waters of this program. I know that it's been cumbersome, and that with all the inability to meet with these people in person, it's complicated things a little more, so thank you. I'd open it up for any questions or comments regarding the program to the aldermen that are online with us first, and then we'd open it up to the general public. Are there any aldermen that wish to have any questions answered, any comments or concerns?
Have a question.
Yeah, this is Gail Carper.
Go ahead, Alderman Carper.
John, is this the program you talked to us before where the city basically guarantees the repayment of this?
Yes, Alderman Carper. The city is the direct grantee, and the business would be applying through the municipality. There is a clawback in the participation agreement that both the business owner and the city would be required to sign, to apply. The Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity and HUD have indicated that they may not exercise that clawback option, but they have not done so in a way that I think is ironclad. So I think there's no intention to go after the municipalities, but I think also it is in the participation agreement that they could if they so chose.
So this is more like a grant program that the businesses that are getting this money won't have to pay any of it back?
They won't have to pay any of it back if they remain in business for 1 year.
And when would that 1 year start?
Presumably upon the receipt of the funds.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else?
Your Honor, this is Annette. I have a question.
Alderman Carper, go ahead.
Thank you. I just didn't catch the fifth business
So
that you listed.
the businesses would be Counseling Cares, PC, Magnolia's Catering Incorporated, Wilbur's Mill Incorporated, more commonly known as the Forum, Piece to Piece Treasures, CMK Jewelers and Repair, and Nostalgia. I did omit Nostalgia. Thank you for catching that, Annette.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Anyone from the public listening in? John, just for a point of clarification, so we're the grantees, so we're granted the $150,000. We disperse it to the businesses, and then technically, the way it's written now, there would be a clawback potential if they did not remain in business for a year.
Yeah, there's
So the obvious question is do we have the funds to cover a default if, in fact, DCO were to hold us liable for that?
internally, staff had discussed using a fund, a revolving loan fund, and we do have more than $100,000 cushion in that fund. Obviously, we would prefer not to use it, but I think we certainly have $100,000 in terms of collateralizing the program.
Okay, very good. And that's money that's been set aside that couldn't be in the general fund, used for any other purposes except for this type of activity.
Correct.
Great. That's the point I wanted to make. So we have a substantial amount of assets that we could back these up should they fail, and that money would not be taken from any other basic services or anything like that the city provides.
Correct.
Okay, just for a point of clarification.
And staff did look at the applications with our partners, and I think it's unlikely that the businesses that have applied would fail. That's never an impossibility, but I don't think any of the businesses would be a grave risk to go out of business within a year.
Okay, very good. Anyone else have any more information? Excuse me.
Yeah, we just had someone join, unknown host. Could you identify?
It's me, Mike, Lori Water Street, and I don't know why I keep saying unknown host. I got to get that changed.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, anyone else have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding our public hearing on the Small Business Stabilization Application Fund for funding?
There is no collateral required.
There is no collateral required. There is the requirement to disclose quite a bit of financial data in terms of 3 years of net income, cash balances, most recent checking statement, January 2020 working capital budget. So I think there is quite a bit of financial disclosure, but there is no collateral requirement.
And we don't disperse the money until we receive it.
No, we would not disperse any money until we receive it, and then the businesses would provide invoices, receipts, et cetera,
Right.
of their capital expenditures or working capital
Wanted to
expenditures.
I just wanted it understood we're not fronting the money.
We're not
We might be
fronting the money.
responsible in the end, but we're not fronting it.
No, I think the city will not be required to front the money. I do think there is quite a time lag, though, for the businesses involved because of that.
Sure.
Mr. Mayor?
Alderman Vajezi. I'm sorry, maybe that wasn't Alderman Vajezi. Whoever asked for the floor.
Patrick Stout.
Oh, go ahead, Patrick, sure.
Okay, later in the agenda, you're talking about transferring authority to committee of the whole for 2 other businesses. Is that another $25,000 apiece, and does that make the total $200,000 instead of $150,000 for the city?
That would Right now, yes. I would want to, one of the businesses may not be 25, as of right now it's 15, so that might be, $40,000 of liability and not 50. But yes, there would be 2 additional businesses, which would bring the total to about 190,000.
Okay,
Is
so
this
in your, sorry.
Patrick, go ahead.
In
I'm
your-
sorry.
Sorry, let me just finish. Overall, if other businesses were to apply, would this expand, or is this the cutoff?
Patrick, that's a good question. The program is available on a rolling basis. I think the city would certainly be willing to entertain any more businesses that wanted to apply. I would be concerned about the continued availability of funding, however. There was only $20 million allocated for this, which is about 800 full applications granted for the entire downstate area. So while the city may be willing to entertain those, I don't know the funding will be there at the state level.
My concern now is if we have 2 more to consider next week, and when you talked about having the money available to back this up, you only talked 100,000. So we were already 50,000, a little behind, and now we're talking maybe another 40, pushing it out to possibly 90. That doesn't. I'd like to see where that 90 is covered.
Well, I would say that as long as the businesses remain in business or reopen for business, there would be no need to repay any of it. And even if that eventuality happened, there's no guarantee that DCO would exercise that clawback. And that would, again, the full 190 would suppose that all of the businesses failed to remain in operation, which I don't think is likely.
Well, I don't either, but you're talking what ifs, and I just would prefer we were a little more solvent.
I'm sure the money is there somewhere to back it up, but in that particular fund that we allocated that had grant monies originally earmarked for revolving loans, we do have an extra 100,000.
Yeah, but that money really wasn't earmarked for working capital.
No, but it was earmarked for economic development, and it's grant money that can't be used for general funds.
True. I understand that. But it was never really earmarked for working capital, was my point.
Right.
Well, but I would say that looking at the financials for most of the businesses, I don't think the businesses that we're talking about approving today are a high risk in terms of failing to remain in operation. So
I don't disagree with that statement, but we want to talk about scenarios. Well, that is a scenario.
it is a scenario.
All righty. Anyone else wish to have any input on the public hearing this evening?
Alderman Carper again.
Oh, go ahead.
I also am confident that these businesses that are before us will continue to thrive and be around for another long time, let alone 1 more year. But I don't recall this coming to our attention prior to tonight, and then its final action will be in order. Am I misremembering that? I don't have a problem in looking at the businesses and that, if they default, and I believe that they will not default. It's just is concerning to me that, as Alderman Moon has said, we're now asked for approval of $190,000, and I don't remember this coming before us prior to tonight.
I think on behalf of city staff, we've had some communications with the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity that the funding was running lower sooner than they anticipated, and we thought it was incumbent upon, on behalf of the businesses and the city, to move as quickly as we could. So Apologies for not giving more advance notice, but a lot of this is driven by the concern that there may not be funding for that much longer at the state level.
So time is of the essence. There is no expenditure of these funds unless the grant money is awarded to us and as a whole. So there's no money going out from city funds until DCO gives us the money to expend. There is an opportunity when we discuss this during the council meeting that you'll have an opportunity to vote on each of these businesses independently of one another. So that if there were any concerns that on anyone's part, either an alderman or whoever the case may be, there would be an opportunity to say, well, you know, that's in my opinion, an acceptable risk for us to partner with versus not. So, and again, I think as John stated, this is very timely in the fact that the program has been out for probably less than 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe tops.
But maybe a month.
Right. So, and many of the details were not available until maybe a week after the program had been rolled out. And again, this is all stimulus designed to react to a very ever-evolving, larger issue in the pandemic. So, I guess I would just state that very plainly there is no money going out from any of the city's funds until the grant is awarded, and then it's on a business-by-business basis. And I do understand the exposure we have here, but it does seem in most cases to be reasonable.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Anyone else? All righty, for the purposes of the public hearing, we'll conclude that at this time then. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
All righty, we're ready to go ahead with the meeting, I think. Y'all are ready? I'd like to call the Macomb City Council to order, please. If you'd please rise, and for those of us in the room here, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If the clerk would call the roll, please.
Mike Wayland.
Here.
John Vajezi.
Here.
Annette Carper.
Here.
Tom Cook.
Present.
Gail Carper.
Here.
Tammy Lee Brown Edwards.
Here.
Dennis Moon.
Here.
7 present.
We have a quorum. Thank you. I would like to take a little bit of deviation from the agenda here. Then I think when you see what's going on here, you may understand. But we have a proclamation I'd like to read in the record. So rather than go to the podium, I'll do it from the seat here. It says, whereas the office of the municipal clerk is a time-honored and vital part of local government exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at all levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, and whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community, and whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations, and whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerk. Now, therefore, I, Michael J. Inman, Mayor of the City of Macomb, Illinois, do hereby proclaim and recognize the week of May 3rd through May 9th, 2020, as Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our own municipal clerk, Melanie Falk, and to all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. So a bit of a surprise.
Yes, it was.
Okay. So
Thank you.
I'll extend this to you by sliding it down the dais to you. And you'll forgive us for the formality of that. But
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, for all you do for us here in City Hall. And all those words ring completely true as it comes to you and how you perform your job. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Council, before you is the consent agenda, and a motion is in order.
Move to adopt as published.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda as published. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Wayland,
Aye.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
A. Carper,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
G. Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak to the council under the public comment section of tonight's agenda? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to unfinished business, which there is no unfinished business. So under new business, item number 1, consideration of a council resolution of support for Mark Kelly, doing business as CMK Jewelers and Repair for the Downstate Business Stabilization Grant application. A copy of the resolution is in your packet, and this is coincidental to the public hearing that was conducted just prior to our meeting this evening. So we'd entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
You want it?
You probably read it into the, okay, sorry. If the city attorney would read the resolution into the record, please.
Okay, as was stated, this is a resolution that would be in reference to the city of Macomb of being a participant on behalf of the business owner to the State of Illinois Community Development Block Grant Program. This is the grant that is being applied for by Mr. Mark Kelly, DBA CMK Jewelers and Repair. Again, the city would be asking the council's adoption of this resolution that would be in support of and authorization to have the mayor and city clerk on behalf of the city execute all documents as are necessary to complete the application in support of this business for the downstate block grant. And again, the next 5 items are going to be very similar. They are verbatim the same except for different businesses, but they are all in support of the varying businesses that are asking to participate in the Black Grant Program.
Thank you. We'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to Move approve. to approve.
I think we had Alderman Vajezzi with a motion, and that would be Alderman Cook as a second. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Aye.
Alrighty. It's been moved and seconded. Want a roll call?
Yeah.
Roll call vote, or excuse me, any further discussion?
This is Gail Carper. I just have a question.
Alderman Carper.
I think I would ask this question for all 6 of these. Do any of these businesses have loans from the revolving fund that they are either current on or
Good question.
just started in for the city?
Mr.
In other words, do we know, if they do have loans, do we know the status of those loans with the city?
Mr. Kelly does have a loan through the revolving loan fund from the city, and he is current on that.
And is that the only one, John?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay, thanks.
I think, if I might add, Nostalgia had a loan with us, but has since paid it off. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct.
Any other questions? Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
A. Carper,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
G. Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards,
Aye.
Moon,
Pass.
Wayland,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 2, consideration of a council resolution of support for Nostalgia Decorating Company, doing business as Nostalgia Decorating and Gifts for the Downstate Small Business Stabilization Grant application. And I'm going to take the city attorney's lead in that the previous resolution that was read into the record will stand for this, with the exception of the name of the business is different than the first. Unless there's an objection, we'll waive the reading of the resolution. I'd entertain a motion to adopt.
Motion Move to adopt.
Okay. We've had a motion to and a second to adopt. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
A. Carper,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
G. Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards,
Aye.
Moon,
Pass.
Wayland,
Aye.
Vajezzi.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Item number 3, consideration of a council resolution of support for Counseling Cares, PC, for the Downstate Small Business Stabilization Grant application. And again, it is the same resolution as read into the record moments ago, and with the exception that the business name has changed. So without objection, we'll waive the reading. Yes.
Mayor, can-
I'm sorry?
For the other businesses today, we have received applications for counseling cares. We have not, so staff would request that council would make a motion to pass the resolution pending receipt of the completed application.
Okay. Did the alderman hear that?
Yes, Your
Yeah.
Honor, and I would
Okay.
make the motion to approve the resolution, the counseling care.
Okay.
Second.
Does that probably need to be pending the completion of the application? Is that the way you'd like it, John?
Pending receipt of the completed application.
Does that work,
Yes,
Alderman
I would
Carper?
make a motion to, yes, I would make a motion to adopt the resolution pending the completion of the application for counseling care PC.
Second.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Cook,
Aye.
G. Carper,
Aye. Sorry, I had to unmute.
Brown Edwards,
Aye.
Moon,
Pass.
Wayland,
Aye.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
A. Carper.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried, thank you. Item number 4, consideration of a council resolution of support for Wilbur's Mill Incorporated doing business as the Forum Two Dogs Bar for a downstate business stabilization grant application. And again, this is the same resolution as read into the record a few moments ago, with the exception that the names of the business has changed. So without objection, we'll waive the reading of the resolution and entertain a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution. Any discussion? Hearing none, a roll call, please.
G. Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards,
Abstain.
Moon,
Pass.
Wayland,
Aye.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
A. Carper,
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 5, consideration of a council resolution of support for Magnolia's Catering Incorporated for downstate small business stabilization grant application. And again, the resolution is the same as was read into the record with the exception of the name of the business being different. So without objection, we'll waive the reading of the resolution and entertain a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt. Second.
It's moved and seconded to adopt. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Brown Edwards,
Abstain.
Moon,
Pass.
Wayland,
Aye.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
A. Carper,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
G. Carper.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 6, consideration of a council resolution of support for Peace to Peace treasurers. Treasurers, is that correct, or treasures? No R? Okay. For a downstate small business stabilization grant application, again, without objection, we'll waive the reading of the resolution, and we'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to adopt the resolution. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Moon,
Pass.
Wayland,
Aye.
Vajezzi,
Aye.
A. Carper,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
G. Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards,
Aye.
Okay.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 7, consideration to award the the Safe Routes to School project contract to Lavadier Construction Incorporated in the amount of $235,206.60. There's a memorandum in your packet from the Public Works Director. And Alice, could you give us an overview of the project and where we're at here, please?
Certainly. Bids were received from IDOT on April 24th, 2020. Although there had been 3 or 4 plan holders, Lavadier was the only bid received that day, and their bid came in at $235,206.60. The engineer's estimate was $220,445.50. So we were a lot closer here on this one. This includes the sidewalk from Grant Street south between the Armory and MacArthur School and the crosswalk. We have in the fiscal year 2021 budget $345,000 for this project. The source of funding for that $345,000 is $200,000 from the grant, and then $145,000 from the infrastructure sales tax fund. At this point, total expenditures are estimated to be $340,206. I do need to amend that a little bit. I found out late in the day Friday that McDonough Communications is going to have to move some fiber in that area, and they're thinking that's going to be about $3,500. So we'll still be under the $345,000, but that it's a little bit higher than that $340,000 that is in the memo. But that still being the case, Public Works is requesting approval of the Lavadier construction bid.
Okay. Thank you, Alice. We'd entertain a motion to award the contract to Lavadier Construction in the amount of $235,206.60.
Move to award the bid to Lavadier Construction.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to award the bid. Any discussion? Any questions? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Wayland,
Aye.
Vijezi,
Aye.
A. Carper,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
G. Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And thank you, Alice. Item number 8, consideration to approve the appointment of interim fire chief Rick Driscoll to fire chief effective May 1st, 2020. We'd entertain a motion to approve that.
Motion to appoint interim fire chief Rick Driscoll to fire chief effective May 1st.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and we have soon to be, hopefully, Fire Chief Driscoll on the line with us today. Any discussion regarding the appointment? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vijezi,
Aye.
A. Carper,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
G. Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Wayland,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. I would just note that Chief has done a great job filling this in the interim capacity since the first of the year. Couldn't be happier with his performance. And Rick, we're looking very much forward to how many ever years of service we can get out of you in this position.
Thank you.
Okay, super. For the council, we will have a swearing in of the chief, and we will be completely cognizant of any issues related to our stay-at-home order to accomplish that. We'll provide you with photographs and maybe even a video of that swearing in when it takes place later this week. Item number 9, consideration to amend the residential initiative and stabilization effort, also known as the RISE program boundaries for the northwest quadrant of the city. There's a memorandum in your packet from Mr. Bannon, the Community Development Coordinator, of the proposed boundary map for your review. John, could you come up and go over your memorandum for us, please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just to reiterate that this is a program that the City of Macomb launched to work in partnership with property owners to remove abandoned, dilapidated, and blighted housing on a partial reimbursement basis, and we have allocated $100,000 to the RISE program. This is an administrative boundary modification, and staff proposes to modify the boundaries of the RISE program to more precisely fit the boundaries of the Northwest Quadrant. If council would look at their map, one can see that the boundaries would more precisely fit the Northwest Quadrant and would include, instead of following the bypass, they will follow, again, the quadrant. So this is an administrative change, just a boundary modification. If council has any questions, I'd be happy to speak to it.
Any questions for John?
Yeah, Gail, I have a question.
Alderman Carper.
John, I couldn't tell from looking at the map whether this changes the size of the area, or does it make it bigger, smaller, or is it just an adjustment in part of it?
It makes it slightly bigger. Formerly the boundaries followed the bypass along Calhoun, so now the boundaries would follow Jackson Street and Lafayette Street, and so it would be a more square area, but it doesn't materially add a great deal of area into the program.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else?
A question.
Alderman Moon.
Do we have any applications or interest in this expanded area already?
We don't have any applications in this area. There may be in the future, but not at this time.
Has anybody expressed interest? I mean, I'll be candid. Are we expanding it because we have somebody that wants to do something in that area?
I wouldn't discount that. There's interest, and that's, you know, it could happen, and there are certainly buildings in there that unfortunately could benefit from this program, but I couldn't speak as to whether something would certainly happen or certainly not happen.
No, I don't disagree. There's buildings in that area, and it's probably where the original boundary should have been. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All righty, we'd entertain a motion to approve the boundary changes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
A. Carper.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
G. Carper.
Aye.
Brown Edwards.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Wayland.
Aye.
Bajesi.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 10, consideration to authorize the Committee of the Whole power to act to adopt 2 council resolutions of support for the Downstate Small Business Stabilization Grant application for Hollister Home Center and Michael's Hair Salon. That would be for the meeting coming up next Monday night. We'd entertain a motion. John, do you want to go over anything?
Thank you, Mayor. All I would add is that the program is the same as the 5 businesses that were voted upon tonight. Those applications, the ability to act next week will allow those applications to be submitted in a more timely manner, and staff would recommend and appreciate the ability to do so.
Thank you. For the record, there were 6 tonight. Thank you. We'd entertain a motion to authorize power to act.
Make a motion to authorize the Committee of the Whole power to act at next week's meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded to authorize the power to act. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Cook,
Aye.
G. Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards,
Aye.
Moon,
Pass.
Wayland,
Aye.
Bajesi,
Aye.
A. Carper,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. We'll place that on the agenda for next Monday night. Item number 11, consideration to approve the end-of-the-year transfers for fiscal year 2019-2020. There's a memorandum in your packet from the business office manager indicating those transfers and the amount. This is our standard end-of-the-year accounting for these types of things. We'd entertain a motion to approve the end-of-the-year transfers.
Move to approve the end of the year transfers.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
G. Carper,
Aye.
Brown Edwards,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Wayland,
Aye.
Bajesi,
Aye.
A. Carper,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. There is no other new business under committee reports. Do any of the aldermen have any committee reports this evening? Hearing none, we'll ask Mr. Bannon to give us a complete count census committee update, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to thank the citizens of Macomb. We're up to about 54.2% response rate for the community, which is fantastic. I'd like to thank the Census Bureau. They sent a lot more supplies, so looking forward to the day when COVID allows gatherings. We have more material to give out and continue our activities. Again, we've got a great video out. If people can continue to respond to the census, you can do so by phone, you can do so online, and they are mailing paper copies now. So whatever way people feel most comfortable with, if you would please respond to the census. We've been doing much better lately, and I'd love to continue the momentum. So thank you very much.
Very good. Anyone have any questions for John on the census committee report?
Hey, John, how do we compare to the other college communities?
We're doing fine. We're significantly ahead of a couple. We're behind. For some reason, DeKalb is doing really well.
Yeah,
so,
I noticed that. Yeah, they're doing well.
Yeah, I don't know, but again, we're significantly ahead of a peer community. So, even Champaign is down. So, I think all of us are kind of going through the same thing, and I think if we could plan, and we will plan some significant events for when the students return to campus in the fall, I think we'll be all right. Again, almost every single college campus town from Charleston and Mattoon and Carbondale and Champaign, all the big state schools, those communities are down, and I think it's because the students aren't there. So, we're all similar.
Right. Yep, you're probably right.
But again, the Census Bureau extended it to Halloween, so I think there is a good chance to get those students counted.
Very good.
Yep.
Anyone else? Already, thank you, John. Any aldermanic reports this evening? Alderman Moon.
Yeah, I would just take this opportunity to echo what John said. If you haven't been counted, please do so. It is really important to this community. It's the revenue source. It's a very important component of this, and if we don't get an accurate count, it's going to really hurt us financially. Also, I would like to congratulate Rick on his appointment to the fire chief. And also, I'd like to thank Kristen Petrie for her service over the last, 8 years? And just comment that I think in my humble opinion, she's done a great job for us and has always been very responsive to any questions that I've had concerning legal ramifications to the city and stuff, and I think we'll miss her greatly. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Moon. Alderman Brown Edwards.
I want to thank all of the citizens for adhering to the wearing masks in public suggestion from the governor. I've seen a lot of people out with masks on, and that's going to help us flatten out the curve, and I appreciate everyone participating in that. The 911 center has asked people not to call the 911 center if they see people not wearing masks, to direct their concerns to the managers or owners of those businesses, and I would encourage people to do that as well. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Alderman, let me see, Alderman Carper, sorry.
That's all right.
I'm looking
We're
down
easy
the
to
aisle
forget.
here and trying to imagine you being here.
I just wanted to say thank you to Kristen Petrie, from one lawyer to another. You've done a great job in all the years you've been here, explaining both to lawyers and non-lawyers some esoteric points of the law. And I wish you the best in future endeavors.
Thank you, Alderman Carper. Alderman Cook.
I would echo what the other people have said and add that Kirsten has done a great job for us, and we're going to miss her.
Very good. Thank you. Alderman Carper.
I too would like to congratulate Rick Driscoll on the position of fire chief. I know that you'll do a great job, Rick. We have a great fire department and police department here in Macomb, and I know you'll do a great job as a leader. And I really didn't get to work with you long enough, Kristen, and I miss you already. And I wish you the very best in your future endeavors.
Thanks, Annette. Alderman Vijezi.
I'm going to sound like a broken record, but also thank you, Kristen, for all the work that you've done. I've known her personally and then professionally, and she's done an outstanding job in both of those aspects. And congratulations on your next step. And also for new Chief Driscoll, very excited to be able to work with you and looking forward to everything you're doing. And lastly, just kind of reiterating what Alderman Tammy has stated, that please make sure that you're wearing a mask. I had stopped by a local retailer this past weekend, and even though it was on a Sunday morning, I was still amazed at the number of people that did not have a mask on. So you're protecting yourself, you're protecting your family, you're protecting your friends, your loved ones. So I implore you, please make sure you wear a mask.
Thank you. Alderman Wayland.
By going last, I get to copy everything everyone has said. I agree wholeheartedly.
Very good. Madam Clerk.
Just thank you for the proclamation. Actually, this is the first time it's ever been done since I've been in office. So, and then I wanted to say to Kristen, it's been a great ride.
All righty. Mr. City Administrator, we haven't heard a thing out of you this evening.
I've been muted the whole time. How's
Okay,
that?
all right.
Thank you to Kristen, and thank you for Rick also.
Very good. Thank you. Ms. Petrie.
I'll try to keep this brief, and I'll try to keep it dry.
Now that's
Comedian,
funny.
too.
That is funny. Okay.
And I'm trying to keep it dry. I just want to say thank you to the city, to the mayor, to all the aldermen and women that I've had the distinct pleasure of working with. There have been so many people, administration-wise. Melanie has been phenomenal, and congratulations on your proclamation.
Thank you.
Deserve it. That there have been so many chiefs, so many lieutenants, so many sergeants, so much staff that I have enjoyed so much working with. I have grown so much being here, and I have grown from all of your expertise and your faith in me and your confidence in me. I don't even know that words can express how much this has meant to me. You're my family, more than just a job, and I thank you for that.
Okay. That was brief. That's unusual. Well, Ms. Petrie, I can't tell you how personally I am grateful for the hard work and dedication you've meant to this community. I know very well firsthand that this community has been served extremely well during the 9 years you've been part of our team. And the fact that you're leaving us obviously is bittersweet. I'm very proud to see you flying away into a realm that you shared with me as something you've desired to be a part of for quite some time. So I'm happy for you over that. I'm sad that we're all going to miss you, and we say that sincerely. We wish you the very, very best.
Thank you very much.
Before we go, I would like to note that we have the City County as a director, Mr. Edgar Rodriguez, with us this evening. Grateful for his hard work that he's been doing as we are kind of headlong into this pandemic that's not only affecting us here locally, but across the state, the country, and the world. I would tell you that as of this afternoon, there are 36 cases of COVID-19 confirmed cases that have been recorded here in McDonough County. That number is likely to increase. There has been one COVID-related death in the county. That number, too, unfortunately, is likely to increase. And as several of the aldermen pointed out, there are certain things, even though this is not currently got a vaccine, currently got not have a cure, there are some things within our control that can help slow and mitigate the spread of this disease. And something as simple as wearing a mask in public, something as simple as washing your hands, simple as maintaining social distancing, and as simple as doing your best to be part of the solution instead of the ongoing problem of spreading this disease is very much doable as long as we make a commitment to do that. And those folks that have heeded this advice and are very much practitioners of it, we want to thank you for that. And for those that it's still is hard for them to cooperate with, I would remind them that these numbers are not going to get any less and are, I won't say guarantee, but I will come very close to saying that these numbers are going to go up with absolute certainty. So we leave you this evening with that in mind and with the balance of the fact that we're in spring. Spring is a beautiful time of year, and there are any number of indications that there are positive things happening on the horizon. So we'd ask you to keep those two things in perspective. That's all I have this evening. I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.